Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm scared. You sure? Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. Wait. Oh. Oh.
Oh, that's what you want to do.
I'm just gonna get it over with.
Just do it. Just do it.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. Here we go.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Okay. Uh. All right. All right. Oh. Oh.
You passed?
Yes! Yes!
Congratulations.
This is the face of victory after years of what felt like defeat. Law school was the hardest thing I've ever endured. 3 years of countless hours studying, mental breakdowns, grit, sweat, and tears all led to this moment. This was the happiest moment of my life, full of real and raw emotions. The moment I achieved my greatest accomplishment. I finally did it. My wildest dream. I became an attorney. Wow, God is so amazing. I want to help you experience this exact same feeling. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, Legal Ease with Ivy B, where I'm here to help you navigate the law with ease. So, y'all, this is episode 2, and we're going to jump right on in and discuss how I was able to conquer the dreaded bar exam on the very first try. I took the North Carolina bar prior to it becoming the uniform bar exam. I won't be discussing the UBE because I didn't take a UBE exam, but tips that I share today will still be helpful for those of you who will be taking the bar exam in a state that has adopted the UBE. So we're going to jump right in and discuss a little bit about the format of the bar exam. So the very first day of the bar exam is essays only. Here in North Carolina, we were required to write 12 different essays on 12 different subject areas of the law. In other states, I think that the amount of essays may vary. The second day is all multiple choice, and everybody nationwide takes the same exact 200 multiple choice questions. The bar exam is a test of mental agility. It really is you mastering your mind. And so the very first thing that I would say is engage in positive self-talk. That's something that I employ in every area of my life, but especially for the bar. I knew that my mind was going to be tested. If you're a spiritual person like me, I know that the enemy attacks when we are feeling vulnerable and weak. And so prior to even beginning to study, I had all of these positive self-affirmations written down in my phone. I had them plastered all over the study room. So I reserved a study room and I filled it up with posters and some note cards that I'm going to actually read to you. Because I'm a visual person, so I needed to see the positive self-talk. Feel the fear of it and do it anyways. Silence the irrational thoughts. Cast all of your cares and do what you have to do to get this done once. Girl, you can do anything. Absolutely anything you set your mind to, you can do it. So set your mind to this thing and get it done. Positive self-talk is so important, y'all. I never once, not one time, said that I was gonna fail the bar. Even when I was confident a couple of times that I was. Like, there were times when it got really hard during that 10-week study period where I was like, okay, in my mind, I said I couldn't do it. But out loud, I would never voice that. I believe that life and death, the power of life and death is in your tongue. And so I would never let those words come out. I only spoke positively about myself and about what I could do. In addition to speaking positively, I began to visualize myself actually opening my passage letter that said, "Congratulations, Miss Brown, you have passed the North Carolina bar exam." Like, I began to put that in my head. I could see an image of myself in my head of me going to that mailbox, getting that letter, opening it, and it's saying congratulations. Like I saw it every single day, and that gave me a thrill. Like it fueled me every day to put that in my mind, and I got it in my spirit, and then I would get to work every single day. Get what you can get. There's only so much information that you can stuff into your brain. Believe it or not, you have more than what you know in your head already. If you've already gone through 3 years of law school, it may not seem like it, but you've actually retained something. And so there's information overload. Usually through the commercial bar prep that you choose, they will give you an assignment overload. I chose to study through Barbary, but there are several different options out there, and you choose the one that fits best for you. In addition to my commercial bar study, my commercial bar prep course, I did a lot of additional things on my own. So from May into June, I studied about one subject a day, and then starting in July, leading up until the exam, I split each day into 2 topics. And so what that looked like for me was handwriting my notes. Whenever I would have a set topic, so let's say I chose to do contracts and business association law, I would write everything out by hand as much as I could recall, and I did it on colorful paper, just like this. I am a visual person, like I said, so the colorful paper, I don't know how, but it helps stuff to stick in my brain. Or I would write as much as I could, and I would set a timer, and I would write as much as I could about business associations in like a 30-minute time period. So this is the paper that I was using. It comes in a bunch of different shades. I can't tell y'all how many sheets of these papers I went through throughout that 10-week period. I had the best mentee ever, and she bought me like a huge 500 pack of paper, and I ended up going through a good amount of that paper. Write and write and write and write and write the rules over and over and over again. I wrote it as many times as I could. Excuse this water stain down here. This is literally an example of all of business law, front and back, that I needed to know for the bar. I did that for every single subject, y'all. Every subject, I wrote it out, and then I began to do the practice essays and the practice multiple choice that were provided. Set a schedule and stick to it. It's really hard when you're all over the place to get in a routine of things in order to let your mind be able to process the amount of information that you're going to take in. So I met with a mentor. She helped me create a schedule. For the first 2 weeks, it was hard, so I adjusted it one time and then ended up having to adjust again a second time, but I found a way that worked, and I stuck to it throughout the rest of the study period. So I'm an early riser. I studied every day. I can't study at night. I studied every day from 7 a.m. to about 7 p.m. At least that's the time that I was at the school. I was not studying every day for that long. But I was at school at 7. I left the school at 7 every day. I watched lectures the first half of the morning. I would then leave and go to the gym for an hour. But while I was on the gym, I was flipping through multiple choice questions. Then I would come back to the school and work on multiple choice questions and essays. I did not do group studies while I was in law school, so I didn't think it would be effective for me to start something new. I was told to stick with whatever had worked for you, and I got pretty decent grades all through law school, so my method worked. I studied alone for the most part. There were a few times where I studied with maybe like 1 or 2 people when I needed to get away from my study room after I started going crazy in isolation after about a month. And I also just wanted to bounce ideas off of certain folks that I trusted. That's an important thing. Don't go and talk to people who was failing through law school, y'all. Like, no. Just because folks are cool, don't associate yourself with folks who don't know what they talk about. I talk to the smart people. And I wanted to bounce ideas off of them, and there were certain times where we met up and did multiple choice questions together. Even though they weren't taking the North Carolina bar, I had a friend who was sitting for Georgia, another one who was sitting for New York, and another for South Carolina. And I would meet with them one-on-one and kind of just bounce through some ideas just to get a general understanding, make sure I knew what I was doing, and I would let them quiz me with flashcards. Another reason why I found it beneficial to study by myself was because during the time of studying for the bar exam, there is a lot of stress. There was a lot of stress in the building that I was studying in because folks, it's life or death for some folks. I had a job lined up for after I passed the bar, and my contract with the job that I had said upon passing the bar in July, meaning that they weren't going to give me 3, 4, and 5, 6 chances. I had to pass it that one time in order to secure my employment. So I myself had an added layer of stress that I had to pass it that one time to keep my job. So I found it better to study alone so that I didn't have the energy of other people transferring over to myself, as well as the fact that I didn't have time to compare. Comparison is a big thing in law school. You start to feel like you're inadequate and you want to see who else is as much of a slacker as you are. So you kind of start to compare yourself naturally. You look to see, okay, what percent are you on in your commercial bar prep courses? And you don't have time for that. You need to have tunnel vision. You need to be focused on your own race. Comparison is the thief of all joy. I really do believe in that quote. I don't know who said that, but that's a quote that I really live by. And so I didn't have time to be worried about what Jody or Sam were doing. I was focused on what Aviance was doing to knock that thing out on the very first time. The next tip that I have for you is for you to take care of your body. Your body is important. Like, team no sleep is not a thing. I don't believe in that. I never did that in undergrad or in law school. I sleep. You need your sleep. Your brain needs to regenerate its cells. For you to process what you've learned throughout the day, you have to have sleep. Go to sleep, y'all. I also went to the gym every single day. Now, I did not do that before or after the bar, but I knew that I was going to be sitting for like 12 hours a day. And so it was going to be important for me to take care of my body. And when I went to the gym, I felt a lot of energy when I came back to pick back up with my studying. So again, I studied from about 7 to 7. I took an hour to go to the gym, and from 7 to 7, I took 2 30-minute breaks. So that's how my schedule was set up. I would go in the morning, get the lecture done, go to the gym, come back, do about 3 to 4 more hours, take a 30-minute break, come back, do a few more hours, another 30-minute break, and then I would be ready to wrap things up shortly after. Another thing that I did was I ate healthy. I had a really helpful fiance who helped me. He cooked for me throughout the entire process of me studying for the bar. He brought me food almost every day. Like, he cooked real nice, healthy meals. But for the friends that I had who didn't have a Daniel in their life, they subscribed to different food meal plans that would deliver healthy meals to them on a weekly basis. And so that's an option that I would really advise. I probably did over 1,000 multiple choice questions over that summer, and probably a good 200 essays. Each essay I did in 30 minutes. Time yourself. Because the bar exam is time. You get 30 minutes per essay. So time yourself when you practice. Practice like you're going to actually be taking the exam every time you sit and do it. So if you count it all out, if you're studying from 7 to 7 like I was, a lot of people don't do that. This is me, y'all. Do what you have to do for you. Find the schedule that works for you. But if you're studying from 7 to 7 and you're sleeping for 8 hours a night, that is about 20 hours. So you have 4 extra hours in a day for you time. You have to find you time throughout this whole entire process of studying. You have to keep your sanity. Now, I would not advise you taking a day off each week. But hey, there are people who did that and it worked for them. It would not work for me. And there are people who study for the bar exam with a full-time job. You won't get that advice from me because I did not do that. I did not work. I did nothing. I canceled life, canceled Christmas, canceled Hanukkah, canceled Kwanzaa to study for the bar exam, okay? Canceled everything and was zoned in for that whole entire 10-week period. But you have to find you time. Whatever is going to help you de-stress and decompress for maybe an hour a night, or on the weekend, on a Saturday for a couple hours. Find whatever that is for you and do it. So if you have any questions or comments, concerns or suggestions, feel free to leave them down in the comment box below. I hope you guys have found something that I've said here helpful. Feel free to hit me up if you have any more questions or about any specific resources that I use, and I will share those with you. Until next time, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see y'all.